Hi and welcome to another video update from the Fire Brigades Union, here in the Union's head office in London. We're joined by General Secretary Matt Wrack to discuss a campaign that the Union has launched regarding the terrible Grenfell Tower fire. Now Matt, we've just passed the second anniversary. There's been a number of events and the Union has now launched this campaign. Tell us about the events and the campaign itself.
Well, we have just passed the second anniversary of Grenfell, which is the worst fire in modern history, worst loss of life since the Second World War. So it should be a big wake-up call for the whole of society, but particularly for us in the fire service, because it raised questions about fire safety, about the fire service, all these issues that we've been warning about for a long, long time are in many ways confirmed by the Grenfell Tower fire. The second anniversary saw a couple of significant events. There was the normal silent walk, but a very, very big silent walk in the community. There were large numbers of firefighters there from all over the country supporting the community. And that was followed the next day by a demonstration, again calling for justice for Grenfell, for issues to be addressed, the concerns of the local community and of firefighters to be addressed. And again, firefighters from all over the country attended that. We also, in the aftermath of or around the second anniversary, based on a discussion we'd had at our conference in May, launched our own campaign in conjunction with the Daily Mirror and with local community campaigners called Grenfell Never Again. And that's where we're seeking to see some urgent steps taken to improve safety around the issues that are raised as a result of Grenfell.
Now Matt, you talk about the steps that the Union's calling for. I mean, actually specifically, what is the campaign itself calling for?
So we have the question of flammable cladding. We've still got large numbers of buildings in the UK with exactly the same flammable cladding as was in place at Grenfell that hasn't been removed. We also have other buildings in the UK with other forms of flammable cladding. And then it turns out that following Grenfell, fire safety inspections identified a whole host of other failings in fire safety in buildings all across the country. So the first immediate demand is that all flammable cladding should be removed. There should be a very clear programme that we can have confidence in, that the tenants and residents can have confidence in, and the public generally can have confidence in. We're saying that in relation to, for example, sprinklers, there should be the retrofitting of sprinklers where appropriate. It might not be appropriate in all cases, but where appropriate there should be. That one of the issues in the run-up to Grenfell was that there were tenants making warnings about fire safety who were completely ignored and dismissed, indeed in some cases harassed as a result of speaking out. We want to support people living in purpose-built blocks of flats to have their right, democratic tenants organisations and so on. In terms of the fire service itself, we've got two points. That it's, if you look at the cuts, for example, we've had huge cuts in our service, but particularly in fire safety departments. And clearly fire safety inspections, that whole safety regime, it goes to the heart of what happened, what went wrong at the Grenfell Tower fire. So we're calling for a reversal of that and for an investment into the fire service and particularly into fire safety departments and teams. And then finally, we're pointing to the complete fragmentation that exists in the fire service. We used to have bodies that would develop policy on a national scale. So people, the public inquiry, for example, the endlessly delayed public inquiry, is looking at the London Fire Brigade. But this goes far beyond the London Fire Brigade because these buildings are in place all over the country. So this is a national issue, and there should be a national structure whereby we are looking at changes in our buildings, we're looking at material that is being put into buildings, emerging risks, and we're issuing advice and standards so that local fire services adopt that, but also that we as firefighters can have confidence in those systems, as can local communities. So those are the 5 demands that we've got as part of this Grenfell Never Again campaign. Now,
I just listen to those demands. I mean, firefighters who follow this story will know the inaction that's taken place, but it will simply beggar some people's belief that 2 years after this fire we've still got high-rise buildings wrapped in flammable cladding. I mean, that's a massive political failure.
I think this is why we were so angry when Theresa May claimed Grenfell or her creation of the inquiry as part of her political legacy. Our view was that Theresa May's legacy in relation to Grenfell has been disastrous. We've got a government that's done virtually nothing to improve fire safety, that people still living in buildings with flammable cladding, no programme that people can have much confidence in of that being removed, still other fire safety failings, still cuts being made to fire services across the country. It's absolutely staggering that this is still going on. We've called for a halt to the cuts. We've called for an investigation into stay put, for example, which has never been taken up. We've called the Prime Minister to look at the issue of predetermined attendances to high-rise buildings across the country, again completely dismissed as a local matter. They have done absolutely nothing apart from effectively kick the whole thing into the long grass through the inquiry.
Okay, Mark, clearly a hugely important campaign. I mean, what's the next steps for it? And importantly, how can people get involved in the campaign? Well,
I hope FBU members see the significance of this. This is one is because of our campaign for justice. We want to support the local community affected by this fire anyway, and we should do that anyway. But also it's about warnings that we as a union have made for many, many years. As long ago as 1999, the Fire Brigades Union warned about flammable cladding on the outside of buildings and the risks that pose. We did that to the House of Commons. We've been ignored. We've made other warnings when people have died in fires, warnings that when our own members have died in fires in tower blocks. And this, therefore, is needs to be done in order to make the case that we can. The fire service is a fantastic service with fantastic people working in it, but we need the investment, the resources and the standards to be able to do that properly, and this is about making the case for that change. People can support that. There's an online petition if people look at the website that's already taken off. We've got the support, as I say, of the Daily Mirror, on watches, in control rooms, in training, in all the departments in services. People should be signing that petition, but also tweet it out, share it on Facebook and so on. Ask your friends and family to do the same. That's how people can build this campaign.
So the main message is get involved, all FBU members.
Absolutely, get involved. This is, it really, I mean, it's about a huge public safety issue in this country, but it's also about the future of our service and our profession, and that's why it's so important to us.
Matt, thanks. Well, for more information on this campaign and steps on how you can get involved, please go to our website, and that's www.fbu.org.uk. For more immediate updates, you can follow us on Twitter, and that's simply @FBU National. Till next time, thanks, and thanks very much, Matt.
Thanks, Dan.